Welcome to Deco Guide, the only app designed to help you navigate your college and career journey in the quickest and most affordable way. This podcast is brought to you by EdTechity, dedicated to opening doors to higher education and career opportunities for all.
What's up, everyone? This is Professor G, and today I got a special guest who's going to break down exactly how to become a teacher, right? Specifically an elementary school teacher. A good friend of ours here at Inspírame, Doctora Figueroa Ramírez. Doctora, thank you very much for joining us today.
Yes, thank you so much for having me, Professor G.
So, Doctora, I get a lot of students, and at Teco Guide, we're all about, right, getting people through college, community colleges, and universities as quickly and affordably as possible. Okay, so if a person starts like at a community college and they want to be a teacher, what's the pathway to become that elementary school teacher?
So if students know that their goal is to teach, they can be very intentional about which majors to select. One of the more popular ones, ideal ones, would be something like early childhood education, human development, child development, anything like that. There's not necessarily a particular, teaching major per se.
Mm-hmm. Can I major in business and still be an elementary school teacher?
Absolutely. You can major in anything and still be a teacher.
Okay, but the traditional pathway, right? The one that most people would take would be to major in something like you said, like child development, right?
Sure.
Or early childhood education, or one of those, right? And I would go see, as a student, I would go see my community college counselor to kind of get an idea of which of those I should lean toward, or how does that work?
Well, if you know you want to be a teacher, you can obviously go for your associates at a community college. But the most important thing is that you are completing simultaneously, while you're completing requirements for your associates, to transfer to a 4-year for your bachelor's. But you're also completing what's called a subject matter competency. So these are additional courses that are required by the Commission on Teacher Credentialing to be a teacher. So
you said a lot of fancy words there, Doctora. So basically I got to take classes in various subjects, right? So that the credentialing people can give me that credential. And that's what you mean by those subjects, right? That I'm going to be, if I'm an elementary school teacher, I have to know all the different subjects because I'm teaching the kids all the different subjects. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah, elementary teachers are required to teach these 3 areas: ELA, English Language Arts and Social Science. That's Area 1. Area 2 would be Math and Science. And Area 3 would be Visual and Performing Arts. So that's the, PE, theater, music, art, drama, human development. So a poquito de todo, a little bit of everything.
So an elementary school teacher needs to know enough about these subjects to be able to teach the kids, right? And when I say elementary school, what grades is that?
That is a fabulous question. The elementary grades are taught with a multiple subjects credential in California, and that allows you to teach TK through 6th grade. But
TK, okay, hold on.
Transitional kindergarten.
What's TK?
Transitional kindergarten, so right before kindergarten.
So preschool?
Not preschool.
You got to help me out here. It's been a long time.
In public schools, you have to have a teaching credential if you want to teach TK through 12th grade. Our public school system in California requires that you have what's called a teaching credential to teach in those grades, TK through 12th.
So I got to have a teaching credential to teach public schools. So basically from 18 years on down.
Well,
pretty much.
If you're working with students that have special needs, that would be age 22.
Okay, but say they're just regular, whatever, no special needs, no nothing else, traditional, boom, it's 18 and down. Grade. So I got to have this thing called a credential. Okay, so that's the first thing. So a credential is a university credential, right? It's something the university systems give out. Right. But after you do your bachelor's degree.
Correct.
OK. And if I go to a community college first, I'm going to do the first, half of my bachelor's degree at a community college. And then I'm going to transfer to university. And then I'm going to do the other half of my bachelor's degree and I'm going to have something like 120 units, which confuses the crap out of everybody, right? It's really like 40 classes, right? You finish 40 classes, you end up with around 120 units, and that gets you a bachelor's degree in whatever subject you're choosing, whether it's history, whether it's English, whether it's business, whether it's economic, whatever, right? Political science, doesn't matter. My bachelor's degree was in ethnic studies, Chicano studies, right? And so if I wanted to be a teacher like myself, I just told you I have a bachelor's degree, right? I can then apply to a school that has a teaching credential program, and then go, if I get accepted, go through that program for that teaching credential. And that's where they're gonna teach me all the things you're telling me of subject matter and all that stuff.
Correct. But the earlier you can meet with advisors, I always advise students to do this. So if you're at a community college and you're already thinking about being a teacher, there's nothing wrong with you being more proactive and seeking out some of these institutions that offer these teacher preparation programs.
Okay, so let's make it real for people.
So if
you're at Sacramento City College, okay, and you're like, hey, you know what? I want to be a teacher.
Sure.
They should, and I want to go to Sac State because it's here and I live here, and
reach out to us.
Right, and so I'm going to transfer to Sac State. When should I start kind of talking to Sac State about me doing the teaching credential with them?
It varies. I think that when you are right out of high school, 18, 19, 20, and you are attending a community college, once you figure out your major GR requirements, to transfer over to Sac State per se, if you want to go to Sac State, reach out to us. We see students.
Okay. Reach out to the credentialing department.
College of Education, teaching credentialing advisors.
Okay. And even though I'm not a student there,
correct,
they'll be able to provide me some advice as to some guidance so that, I can get there sooner, right? And get the degree sooner and not be taking classes that I don't need to be taking.
Yeah, absolutely. We have information sessions that we do, and they're open to everyone. We post them on our social media. They're free. They're informational. Q&A. You're not signing anything. You're not committing to attending Sac State. You're exploring, and you have a right to do that.
I can go to your website at the university and kind of look this up and see if there's workshops, and this is any universities, right? So if you're anywhere in California, you have the California State University system.
Correct.
There's 23 universities, and most of them have Department of Education teacher credentialing programs. Some of the UCs, I believe, also have the same as some of the private schools. So you should explore that university you might want to get your credential from. You should begin exploring. The sooner the better is what you're saying.
Correct. As soon as you know, and you might not be, sure that that's what you want, but if you're thinking, hey, I want to learn more, feel free to, tap into those resources that are there and that are available.
Okay, so great. So if you know early, great. What if you don't know? What if you kind of just went to community college and transferred and you're already finishing a bachelor's degree in, say, psychology? Okay, can I still be an elementary school teacher if I just finished my bachelor's in psychology?
100%. Absolutely. We see.
Okay, why is that different than me majoring in child development? What's the difference and what do I got to do different?
Yeah, great question. So for child development majors or liberal studies, by the way, at Sac State, those are the two more popular programs, majors that our students major in that want to teach elementary. We have child development and liberal studies. Mm-hmm. So it depends. Liberal studies is a more traditional route. Liberal studies their specialization is to take a little bit of everything. So you do English, you do the arts, you do math, science, the social sciences, poquito de todo, while you're also completing requirements that the state sets to be able to get into a credentialing program. Not all programs do that. Our program is Sac State in Child and Adolescent Development, le decimos CHAD, we call it CHAD. It doesn't necessarily meet all of the requirements, being subject matter competency, we call that SMC. That just means that you have to demonstrate that you know the content that you want to teach. Unlike lib studies, CHAD doesn't require as a major the additional classes that I mentioned.
Ya me perdiste, doctora, otra vez. It's complicated, right? I'm like, okay. So if I know early enough, okay, that's why I think the emphasis here is as soon as you know you might want to teach, you need to start getting advice, because there's classes that you must take in order to meet these competency things you're talking about, right? Because you got to be able to teach the subject. Now,
an exam.
Okay, so I either got to take the class or pass a test. And if I don't take the class, then I got to study my butt off to pass the test.
And those
right? And maybe do some study books, or Amazon, Google, YouTube, do what you can to get study materials.
Those tests, and that's why I'm emphasizing early advising. See, those exams historically have been the number one barrier for our raza, students of color, first generation students, to get into a teaching credentialing program. Because statewide, see, the institutions, the teacher preparation programs, the universities that offer these credentialing programs, we don't make the rules on what's required to be a teacher.
These are at the state. The state of California makes the rules. And if you live in Nevada, it's the state of Nevada that makes the rules for you guys. But here, it's Cali.
The rules.
And if you want to be this elementary credential, there's very exact tests you have to take or pass, or classes you have to pass when you were like in community college and the university. So someone like me, I came in, I don't have a traditional bachelor's degree for teaching, which would be child development or liberal studies kind of stuff. I have either psychology or Chicano studies, right? Completely different. I would have to then do tests to prove my competency in certain subjects.
Or the extra classes.
Or take the classes and then the credits that I earn. And I gotta pass the class. I gotta get C's or better?
Correct. C- or better.
C- or better. Great.
To satisfy subject matter competency.
I'm a C student, and I always have been, so I can still be a teacher.
Perfect. It works for you. Absolutely. Can I also add something really important to this point? So this goes to a lot of our students that have been C students, B students, A, what have you. If you're a C student, that doesn't take away from the kind of teacher you're going to be. If you're a psychology major, that doesn't take away from the successful, effective, strong teacher you'll be. Just because you major in lib studies doesn't guarantee you that you're going to be an amazing teacher, right? And so don't allow that to take away your agency and your caliber as a teacher, as an educator. I didn't major in lib studies or in CHAD. I majored in political science. I wanted to go into law. And my last year, I decided to be a teacher. So I took the extra classes. I didn't do the tests, but that's because I wanted high school, which we'll talk about a different day. That's for single subject. Yeah,
because we're hoping to have a lot of episodes here, because this episode we're focusing just elementary school. We want to teach the little kids, right? The TK to what grade did you say it was? TK to what?
TK to 6th grade.
Okay, so if I want to be a first grade teacher, second grade, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, a kindergarten teacher or a TK teacher, I'm going to need a multiple subject teaching credential that I got to get through a university that has a teaching credential program. But before that is that bachelor's degree. And the bachelor's degree matters because if it's not in these traditional subjects, you're going to either have to take more classes to meet the subject requirement or take a test or more tests. There's not just one test, right? If you're going to challenge them, you can challenge them with different tests and then try to place out of basically taking the classes. That's the gist of it.
At the moment is one test. We call those the C sets. These are the
C sets. So CSET.
Correct.
Okay, and I can Google that and look it up and kind of see the requirements. These are standardized tests that you must pass, and I'm sure you're going to have to pay for them.
Absolutely.
How much are the tests?
They vary. Each subtest, most of them have 3 subtests, 3 parts to them. Each subtest will cost $99.
Okay.
You can take them separately. Good. Yeah, when you're preparing for them, there's a number of test preparation materials online. Our website offers a number of materials as well. Most of it is free. You should access everything free. What we recommend is that you take the practice test first, do a diagnostic, see how you do. See where your strengths and weaknesses are. And I say this because I see a lot of students who ask me, Doctora Figueroa, is this an easy test? I heard it's hard. Well, I don't know. Just because you didn't major in history or in music doesn't mean you're not good at it. Maybe
Right.
you're a historian.
I love history. I did. Yeah, exactly. I wasn't a history major, but I love it. Yeah.
You won't know unless you do the practice test. You have to do the practice test, sit down and take a half hour, what have you, algo poquito corto, and see, okay, what are the areas that I need to work on? And then we can sit down and we can help you create what we call an action plan. How to tackle the tests, when to take them. You shouldn't do them all at once.
Okay, so you can spread these out. So you can spread them out because I'm sure they're multiple hours each test, right? You're sitting there for 3 hours, potentially more each time, right? Okay, so let me get this straight because I'm still a little bit confused, but I'm starting to get it here. Someone like me that has a bachelor's degree in a non-traditional major that was for teaching, right, which was the child development or the liberal studies kind of stuff. If I wanted, where would I start? I would start with, looking at the application, kind of figuring out when the next semester admission cycle is going to be for the multiple subject teaching program at, say, Sac State, for example, Sacramento State University. Once I know kind of the dates, then I got to backtrack and kind of look at the requirements. Like what are they requiring? They're requiring an application, letters of recommendation. At that point, am I required these tests, or is that at the end that I'm required those tests? The CSET, for example.
Yeah, that's a good question. And I know, I think a lot of people expect one response y punto, and it doesn't work that way with credentialing. There's more than one answer. At Sac State.
Bring it on. Give it to me.
Okay, answer one. I have one answer. One answer is the easiest. The sooner the better. So when should you have these exams completed? Yesterday. Last year, right?
I should work on these exams before I even apply to your school. I should know when to apply to your school, but I should be working on these, potentially try to get 1 or 2 or whatever done before I get into your program.
That's if you know you need them. Number one, we need to find out if you need these tests, right?
Because I might have taken the class and it got waived.
Exactly. Ask for an evaluation, meet with advisors, because we see students that are taking the tests, right? And they majored in different programs. They come from different community colleges from the state or from the country. So we see a little bit of everything.
So there might be some credits that I have from my psych degree that you can use to waive a CSET test, one of those tests. They're potentially good. So you want the advising early,
right?
To figure that out. And that's for someone like me who already has a bachelor's degree. If I don't have if I'm just starting, you would take the classes now so that you don't have to take the tests at all.
Exactly.
When you get there. Got it. Okay. So then I apply to your program. If I'm admitted into your program, right? Because, you can deny me, but if I'm admitted into the program, is it a full-time program? Is it a part-time program? Do you have both options? And how long if I choose either option?
Yes, I'm going to answer that, Professor G, but I wanted to go back to your initial question about when do they have to have these exams done, right? In the entire CSU system, and I'll talk about Sac State because obviously I'm more familiar with Sac State's credentialing programs. At Sac State, the application cycle is always the same. We only admit in the fall. All of our credentialing programs begin in the fall. So our application period is always the same. October 1st is when the applications open, like the year before, right? To start following fall,
right? Okay.
Right. And the deadline is always the 1st of February for the general education programs, typically March, April for special ed credentialing programs. We have a little bit of a longer cycle. The point is, though, you don't have to have everything completed in order to apply. That's really important. You don't have to have these exams completed. You don't have to have, in fact, students don't even have their bachelor's when they're, some students, when they're applying to our credentialing programs. Because
they're like in their senior year. Yeah, they'll be done with it before they start.
But see, the problem is this, and this is what I meet with thousands of students, right? In my time that I've been serving as advisor, I see this so much. I see students that are in their last year, senior year, that are working and maybe a little overextended, a little overwhelmed with major, GE, and graduation requirements.
For their bachelor's, right? You're talking about for their bachelor's. Okay.
They have midterms, they have finals, they have, graduation, end of semester, priorities. they're working, they have sometimes 2 jobs, they have family obligations, life, right? So the question is this: when do you study for these exams? If it comes to students needing the test, so then they're in this pickle where it's like, okay, now I'm graduating in May, but I don't have time to study for these tests because your application is doing febrero. And then in summer, I'm working. And then in summer, guess what? We've already made decisions about who gets admitted.
Right. And you just missed out on that cycle. So you're out for a year.
Well, not necessarily. It depends. It depends on what program you're applying to. It depends on whether you're bilingual in Hmong or in Spanish. Because
whoa, what does that have to do with it?
Well, we need more bilingual teachers in California. So if you speak more than one language, you get the credential plus the bilingual authorization. Now you have more to offer. Now you're more competitive. If you can
more skills.
Teach in more than one language, of course.
Yeah, you have more skills. Of course. Yeah, you float to the top of the line.
Exactly. But you're not guaranteed a slot, right?
Right. Not guaranteed, but they recognize that, whoa, I mean, we need more language skills. And if you have, you said Spanish
and Hmong.
And Hmong. And that's here in the Sacramento area. So in your area, wherever you're at in California, it might be something else, other priority languages because of the populations that may surround that university.
Correct.
Got it. So it's critical that you talk to the credentialing office or the advisors, make contact with them, even if you're not a student there, letting them know, hey, I'm currently at this other college, but I want to get into your teaching credential program, and get the advice. Correct. Because that advice can help you avoid a bunch of tests called the C-sets, right? And those tests are what's required for you if you don't take the right classes when you're working on your bachelor's degree. Yeah, that's critical information. Thank you for sharing that. That's something most of the public doesn't know, and most students don't know. Because when I was in community college, I wasn't reaching out to the university. Because I'd always think like, what are they going to tell me? They're going to be like, what the hell are you calling us for? You're not a student, and I think that, right? That deficit mindset. And so, it's opposite. They want to hear from you because they want you to take the right classes to make it through quicker, to become a teacher quicker. That's
a very good point. I had one of my students, male Latino Chicano student. He said to me, dang, I didn't know that, advisors did all this. I said, what do you mean? I was confused because for me, it's like, this is what I do, right? I don't think anything of it. But my student said to me, I just always ignored the emails to go see advisors, at Sac State because I assumed that you guys were going to talk to me like my high school counselor. I go, what do you mean? He goes, yeah, like the motivational counseling or advising that he got. He said that it was like, you can do it. You're going to graduate. He goes, I already know
pampering.
that.
Yeah.
Sure,
Yeah.
I don't need that, hokey motivational talk. I thought you just wanted to talk to me, like motivate me. But now I see
it's strategy.
These classes, like, hazle así, hazle
yes. And I'm here to save you a ton of money and headache. So just, and you do what you do, right? That's why we built Techo Guide, because we have to tell everyone how to do this affordably, right? So that you're not in student loan debt, so that you're not burning a bunch of money and time and energy in classes you're not supposed to be in. So, this is one of many series where we're going to be talking about becoming a teacher, because there's all kinds of other credentials that you'll be sharing with us, right? There's that special ed, right? We will do an episode just on that. So if you, want to work with kids with disabilities, then trust me, you're going to learn how to do it right here with Dr. Figueroa. We're also going to eventually talk about a single subject teaching credential for those high school, aged, students that, or people that want to be high school teachers, those kinds of secondary school teachers where you're like just the science teacher, right? Or you're just the math teacher. You're not having to teach all these other subjects. So in a nutshell, for today, elementary school teaching, there is a process. The sooner you want to be a teacher, the better. The sooner you need to get in to see a counselor, not only at your community college, but definitely reach out to the teacher credentialing program nearby. If you don't know, where to go go to, pick a CSU nearby, a UC nearby, talk to your community college counselor about, doing a teaching credential with one of them, and then reach out, right? I think the moral of this story is you should be reaching out to the university system, especially the credentialing office, as soon as you are considering being a teacher, because it's going to save you a ton of time and a ton of money by taking the right classes that they tell you to take in order to avoid all these hard tests that cost about $100 a pop. Did I get that all right?
You did. There's just a lot more.
There is a lot more, and that's just what I got in this quick little session, right? So keep listening to, so those of you that are out there listening to us, just keep listening, right? We're going to try and cover everything. If you see us on social media, post the questions, right? We can answer those as well there with additional videos and other content to follow. Doctora Figueroa, any last minute tips and advice that you have for those people who want to take care of our kids and teach our kids and literally teach future leaders of America and the world? What final tips and advice do you have for them?
I would just say, if in your heart you feel that in your service to the littles, the population that you want to work with, right? If in your heart you feel that love, that cariño for this particular population. And today we didn't talk about PK3, but that's another credential, which I just wanted to mention today, but definitely ask.
Oh, we're going to do a full episode on that one too.
Yes. And I know we don't have time today, but if to those of you listening in today, ask questions, come see us. Your tuition fees are covering, our services. So please feel entitled, feel that you have the right to come to us and again, advocate for yourself. Because if you don't ask, unfortunately, there's spaces across our campuses where people will just be very prescriptive and transactional. They'll answer only what you ask, right? And so
that's right.
Individuals like Professor G and at Inspírame Teco Guide, seek them, seek us. We might not know all the answers, but we can connect you with individuals who do. And that would be my message, is to keep pushing and don't get discouraged, and I see students that sometimes do this and it's like, oh, I didn't know about XYZ. Maybe I'm just not cut out for it. Well, no, you are, but maybe you just didn't get the information early, or maybe you decided that you wanted to choose a selection later, this career choice later in your career, and that's okay. Así pasa, it happens in life. We have those changes and there's nothing wrong.
And we have the phases. Every 5 years, you're in a completely different phase of your life. So, maybe it wasn't for you when you were 22, but it might be just right for you when you're 32. And so the thing is, just always be open to that. You nailed it right on the head is there's going to be moments of doubt. Lots of those. There's going to be moments where, you're lost. There's going to be, you're the one who has to reach out and advocate and gather that information, because the information is available if you look for it, right? Find those mentors on campus like Karina so that she can guide you through. Otra vez, Doctora Figueroa, muchísimas gracias for your time.
Thank you. Gracias. Thank you for having me.
Adiós.
Hasta luego.
Thank you for tuning into Teco Guide, the app focused on bringing you tools and content to help you make better decisions about school, life, and career. We hope this episode has inspired you to pursue and excel in your own educational and career journey. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, and share.